Hi guys, I'm Jamie. Welcome to this discussion around the healing process, and we'll do a meditation around the healing process as well in this. And I hear a lot from people frustration around the healing process in that it doesn't tend to be very linear, but that's what we expect from it. So when we're suffering from an emotional wound or trauma, and we're working through the process of healing that, we feel like we should be moving forward constantly, and we're kind of hitting these landmarks along the way, and that we have some sort of destination at the end that is healed, that's us healed. And in reality, that's not really the way it goes. I don't think really for anybody. Maybe I could be wrong, but not in my experience and not from what I hear of other people's experience in their healing process. So what I find to be the most common is that we're sort of on this forward and back. So where we might be taking these big strides forward in our healing process, we may then suddenly find ourselves falling back to a space we thought we had already moved on from. And that can happen because of certain things that can trigger us around that specific wound that we have. That can also happen because we are maybe going through a significant shift or change in our lives, especially if it's an unexpected change or one that we are not happy about, or one we don't consider to be good. And then it can also happen just because, who knows? Sometimes these things just happen, they come up, and, just even the littlest thing can send us sort of tail spinning back. So what I really just wanted to say and discuss around this is that healing is not a linear process, and that we should not feel like we're failing in our healing if we find ourselves falling back. So sometimes it feels like taking, 3 steps forward and 1 step back, but sometimes it feels like taking, 1 step forward and then 4 steps back. And it's going to be this sort of back and forth where sometimes we're moving forward a lot, stepping back a little, sometimes we're moving forward a little, stepping back a lot, but we're always making that progress forward regardless. So don't beat yourself up about it. Don't feel like you're doing it wrong. Resist that urge to fall back into habits or vices that might help you to escape, or we sort of abandon the process of healing. We give up, we feel like we failed, and we instead find ways to just escape from our pain and our hurt. And instead, just remember to keep working forward, to keep that process going. So find a comfortable seat, or you can lay down if you choose. Just get kind of comfy and let your eyes close. Start to deepen into your breath. So you're breathing all the way in, filling your lungs, and then breathing all the way out. Let yourself become grounded and centered here in this space. Now start to turn your attention inward, and I want you to see if you can identify an emotional wound or a space that you're healing around, where maybe you've had this experience or are currently having this experience, or maybe just a wound that you're working on healing. Even if you don't recognize that this particular experience is what's happening for you, there's still probably a wound, something that you're working on healing through that healing process. So notice what that might be. And we're going to give that wound or that hurt or that trauma an identification, a name, a label. And I know that sometimes that feels a bit jarring to do. It feels like we're maybe giving it permission to be, but that in fact is exactly what we're doing. And the reason is that processing through pain and hurt is important in order to get to that space of healing, or to work towards that space of healing. I don't know if we're ever, achieving healing entirely. Maybe around specific issues we can, but it's really about the journey that we take. So by giving whatever you are healing from or working through a label or a name, that gives us permission to acknowledge it, and then to process it, and then to begin to heal from it. And if we don't do that, if we just pretend it's not there and we shove it down and ignore it, there's really no healing and no processing that occurs. And therefore, we're going to find that it keeps coming back up. It's going to keep re-arriving in our life, maybe through different circumstances and different lessons along the way, but it will continue to come back. So that name or that label might just be, I am feeling this, or I am healing through this, or I am experiencing a step back in my healing journey around this. It might be I'm having anxiety around this. It can be whatever resonates with you, but just give it that name and then just breathe into it. We're doing this without judgment. It's not about judging yourself for having this experience. It's not about judging your process. It is simply an awareness that we're creating around what we are experiencing at this moment. Let your breath move into that space. And this might be simply an emotional space, or we might find it manifesting itself in our physical body. So we might actually feel it as tension or tightness or even pain within the body. So if that's the case, you might breathe into that space in your body. And if it is in fact remaining simply an emotional sensation, just imagine the breath kind of flowing through that. Big inhales and long exhales, breathing in and out through the nose. Feel the breath. And then as you breathe, you might begin to envision that your inhales are drawing in a white, energetic light. And your exhales are permission to soften and release from that space. So the inhales, we draw in maybe a healing light, an energizing light into the space. And on the exhales, we release. Releasing what isn't serving you, releasing your tension. And our goal here isn't to heal this completely. We're probably not going to come out of this meditation feeling like it's gone, but we're just showing it that we're willing to work with it, that we're willing to experience it, and we're willing to breathe with it. We're putting the energy into processing. Feel your breath flow in and out through your nose, breathing in energetic light, breathing away what is no longer serving you. Continue to breathe this way. Just allow yourself to really experience this breath. Allow yourself to truly experience what you feel coming up within this for yourself. If there's emotions becoming present, that's fine. Let them be. Let yourself feel them. Again, no judgment. It might be that it would serve you to continue this practice on your own. It might be that you're ready to be finished and you might pick it up again later or another day. If you're ready to release, you might come back to your natural breathing pattern and float your eyes open. Just notice, sitting here with the eyes open, any changes or shifts from where you began in terms of how you are feeling. And if there's not a change, that's okay. Sometimes I tell people that healing is like a dance where at sometimes we feel completely in control, we have learned the choreography, we are graceful, moving with our steps, flowing, and then all of a sudden we can't remember a single step, we're tripping over our own feet, we're stumbling backwards, and it's very much what the healing process can feel like. So just know that it's an experience we're all having. It is the experience that is absolutely normal and okay, and no judgment on yourself. So thanks for sitting with me today, and I hope that you all have gained something from this, or maybe released something from this, even better. And feel free to come back to this practice at any time on your own. Thanks, you guys. Namaste.